observations from last week that you made in the salon, things that you're focused on or working on, something that you've changed about the 6 steps in the last week, either that you saw or that you're doing. So how was last week?
So last week was actually my first week. So it was fun. I did get to see everybody in action and everything. Everybody was super friendly. I feel like every salon is a real vibe with the staff. You know, like, hey, like, how are you? And the snacks and everything. I do feel like sometimes they're a little shy to talk about the products, but I did try to my best to talk about them.
Okay.
And then I would read them whenever I had the chance and everything. Everybody was
So, when they're shy to talk about the products, how does the client respond?
I think they're just a little, like, they'll say a little bit about the product, but not too much. And then the client will be like, oh, okay.
So did you feel informed?
Not really. Yeah.
So then the guest can't possibly feel informed. So you're trying to learn, but you don't feel informed.
But I did read the bottles and I would try to tell them if they would ask me.
Yes. So you don't.
Or I would try to figure it out with them.
That beef right last week was pretty slow, so I tried to offer like clients that just got like movie touches or and I asked them like after if they wanted to blow dry or something, since like assistant and have my license now, so
Yes.
I can practice and stuff.
Yes.
So I would offer that.
Did anybody take you on your offer?
One did, like a couple did, but
Right. So you probably have to ask 15 times to get one to say yes. So that's like a learning curve because you get told no a lot.
Yeah.
Not today, right? So that's awesome. Keep going. Okay.
And then, other than that, I've kept everything pretty much like similar, just like talking about products and then bringing it over to either like David or Luke, or just bringing it over to like the front desk.
And out of 100% of the time, what percentage would you say you do that?
Like maybe like
Okay, so we need to up that because it needs to be 100% of the time unless literally something gets in your way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it just, there's things that happen, but it should be, if it's 100% of the time, it's a habit.
Right.
And then it doesn't happen because David did it, or because Libby did it, or because, you know what I mean? But it's being done if you make it happen. So I love your honesty with that. Thank you. So let's up that to 75% of the time you're going to be bringing it up. Because then it will be ingrained as a habit, and then when you become a stylist behind a chair, there's a whole new flood of feelings that happen. Nerves, the responsibility of it, but you'll already have that as a habit and it will just be what you do. It won't feel forced, it won't feel, so let's work on that. Awesome?
Well, sometimes I would tell them, like, I wouldn't really like go in depth with them, but I would be like, oh, amazing. Sometimes when I remember, I would tell them, like, oh, even the keratin shampoo, but that's about it. Like, I wouldn't really.
So that's something we have to grow we need you to grow, all of you, and grow in education of the product so that you can confidently speak of the product so that they feel educated. The goal is that they're educated on what you put in their hair. Whether they choose to use it is their choice, but your job is to educate. And so we don't have that knowledge to educate, right? We can't share what we don't know. So I assigned you a product, yes? I don't remember what product I assigned you because I gave it to you. That's your job to remember. So when Katie comes back, you're going to be sharing about your product. Is everybody prepared to do that? Okay. So we'll do that next. My next question is, what observations did you make during consultations? Any? Remember I said, listen for consultations last week. And I know you go back, and so you really want, what I want you to do is write a to-do list for yourself in your notebook of everything that we're going to be responsible to talk about next week. But did you hear anything in a consultation? Because that's what we're focused on today, right? That's one of our topics. So what did you hear, observe, see last week?
Oh, I noticed when they're talking, like people are like, oh, like did you like your haircut like before? Because sometimes they come back to the same person.
Right, so
they're
it's
like,
on a
oh,
repeat guess, you notice that they say what?
They come back and they're like, oh, did you like the size? Was it too short? Was it too long? And then some of them like, oh, I want to go shorter. Or like I tell them I'm going on the top or something, and they want to like turn it out in the end if they're like, if it feels like too heavy or thick.
Okay, so they talk about their last haircut if they've done it.
Yes.
Okay, I have to turn this volume down just a touch because I'm struggling. Yes.
What's the
Suzanne.
Are you leaving for
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're all set.
All right.
That was great.
He should go.
Oh, this is for Amy. Oh. You're so sweet. If you want to just kind of shove that aside and join us in the wall. Just because I don't want you to miss out. If that's your observation, how, as a stylist, do they know what they did last time? What are your thoughts? I mean, it's just an observation you made. You might not have the answer to this, but if they're a repeat guest, how do they know what they did last time?
Should we come back to the same person?
Yeah, but what if I saw 100 people since I saw you 4 weeks
On the
ago?
book, right? Should I write that down?
I don't know, would they? Is that something you could do?
Yes. Like the color?
I will tell you, as a new stylist, you want to write as much notes as you can because you're gonna say, I'll remember them. And then you're gonna see their name on the book and you're gonna go, who is that? And you're gonna look at their history and you're gonna go, I didn't. I don't even remember their face. And then they walk in and you don't remember them. Because you just go into tunnel vision when you're doing it and it's fresh. So any notes you can write, what you did and what the guest talked about, like my hair is heavy in the front, my hair is this, my hair is that, whatever. If you put those things in the notes, then you can ask, how was that last time? Did we take the bulk out that you needed at the end? All those questions that you have, but you have to have that information somewhere. As a seasoned stylist, you start to have habits that you do that you can remember those things. But as a new stylist, if you don't have a note about it, and even as a seasoned stylist, sometimes I need lots sometimes. Especially, we're seasonal. So if I saw someone last year, once in February, and they came back at the beginning of the next season, and I haven't seen them since February, I have no idea what I did. And my favorite is when they go, it was perfect. Can you do it just like you did last time? Maybe. I don't know.
Or sometimes
What'd I do? Can you tell me?
sometimes don't they go to another stylist?
Yeah, their hair, well, if you think about it, they go back home, up north, wherever that is. They've had their hair done 4 or 5 times. It looks nothing like the way you did it, so you can't even make observations. So when it's a repeat guest to you, there should be some form of information in your system that tells you what it is. If you have to do drawings, then you need to keep a better filing system for yourself because you can't put drawings in there. But what you could do is draw it and take a picture and you can upload that to Boulevard. Did you know that? So in Boulevard, you can upload a picture to the client. So these drawings that you're doing of haircuts, if that's what you needed to know what you did, you could just draw it and then upload the picture. But keeping records of what you do is going to save you and keep you guessed. Because if you do it once right and then the next time you get it wrong because you don't remember what you did, like, that's not good. They're looking for consistency as well as, being happy with their end result always. Yes, so that's a great observation. Any other consultation observations that you made last week? Things you heard that were asked or things that were like, oh, I never thought to say that.
I feel
feel like everybody's view of like an inch is different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you always have to make sure like to ask them, well, how short is too short for you?
Mm-hmm. So confirming how much you're actually taking off is a big part of the consultation. And understanding what they see as 1 inch, 2 inches, because it's often very skewed. And if you need an idea, sometimes the best reference you can do is on the side of a petticoat, there's a measurement and just giving them, well, that's an inch. Because my inch is not exactly an inch unless I'm measuring it. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. How about for you? What did you observe here? Anything last week?
I think just confirming everything that was done in the previous session, and seeing if anything, is too dark or too light, or if they want it, like just be really detailed about what exactly they want instead of just saying, oh, how you did it last time was fine. Right, just being consistent and like being.
So you heard more questions diving into what they had.
Yes.
We do have a lot of repeat guests, so what I would encourage you to do is look at the book for the week, find a new guest on the book on a day you're working, and listen. There's 15 extra minutes built into a new client. That 15 minutes is so that you can discover the stylist, who that person is, like based on their lifestyle, based on how they dress, to meet their needs in a whatever service you're giving them. So I would encourage you this week to find a new stylist. Sorry, my son is home and the school is blowing up my phone. Just making sure that I know he's not there. That's what I would encourage you to do, is listen to a new consultation, because a new consultation is all you're going to be doing in the beginning. And a new consultation looks very different. So what I want you to do is write down 3 questions that you have to, not like how was it last time, but 3 questions that you have to ask at a haircut consultation for a new guest.
Yes, that's one for our son.
Take a minute. Yes, take a minute, gather yourself. I pulled you in, but that blow dry looked great. Nice job.
Full head of gray hair, white hair. I earned every bit of it. Well, goody. I've earned the right to cover it up. And I do have a friend who, she grew up with very dark hair, so when her gray hair came in, it's like a silvery white. It's very pretty, actually. But you can tell she's not kidding. And then I have friends. Why do you think this is attractive? It's mousy.
Let me sign your thing too. We did theirs already, so. Oh, I can help you.
Children,
I'll help
three
you
of
take
our
that one with it.
we all have.
Oh, so
It just needs to be wet.
And we all told each other, oh no, I'll never be like, oh no. But my mother wasn't either. No. Until COVID hit. And then she could not go to the salon at the assisted living where she lived. So she had to suffer for that. And I must say, after all that time, it did not look good. No, of course, she was already 94. It did not look good. And then by 94, it was too difficult anyway to go over to the salon.
She wanted to go to a monthly registry and people on her book.
Now, my grandma had snow white hair. when she was 25.
She came to me and said something.
And that's all we ever knew, you know, with her white hair.
I saw that, that's why I was like making sure you had it. Yeah. So that's that.
And the other thing, people in their 70s, they think they're still hippie, so they have this long straggly hair. It's not even styled nice. It just hangs and it's gray, and they think it looks good. It doesn't. It doesn't. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of glasses sleeves. There's lots of magazines to read all the gossip.
How much was your blow dryer?
With my discount, it's
For that style? Because they were running those at like 300. Babylist just came out with one, so I bet you the Babylist is also going to get one. When they upgrade. I would think.
well, some of the girls had the Dyson. I was like, I don't want to spend $500 on a hair dryer. That one works perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, that one's good. I also wanted to use it to see. Because often you have to upgrade your blow dryer, so
Well, mine has a lifetime warranty, so if that breaks.
good. Hopefully they stand by it like the other ones. Because this one's, they've stood by this one
Oh, good.
for like 4, 5.
Yeah,
Good.
very friendly woman.
I had the manual too. I didn't want to look at it to my kid, but interesting.
I have the older cut
I
forever.
have the same one in my kid.
And I like their curling irons.
I have the one for, I think it's a 1-inch barrel. And I didn't want to use the Marcel, so I spent $90 on a regular iron.
Okay, so you're all gonna share one question that you wrote down at least. Who wants to go first? Okay.
I think one that would be important, depending on the cut, would be maybe like where they part their hair.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
then it would be funny if they parted it on the side and they wanted like, like the layers would probably have to match, their parts.
So if you don't cut on the part, things are altered when they part it. So if you cut for a center, and then they part over here, things are altered. Because you cut everything, this hair gonna live over here. So the part matters. How far from the natural part, the further away it is, the more consistent you have to be like on the style part, not the natural part. If they move their part, then it's important that you cut it for the center. And explain to them, when you put it over here, it's going to be shorter here. And when you put it over here, it's going to be shorter here because you move it. The other part is when doing a one length. If you cut for a part, which is what we're doing today, right? It's a one length. If you cut,
From the state level all the way down.
and I'm going to do like a deep, heavy side part so that you can kind of physically see.
Then I'm learning anything.
This is where she's going to part.
I couldn't wait to get out into that.
And all this hair is coming to one length.
Well, good. Glad to.
Then if this hair blows in the wind, it goes all the way over here. If this hair blows in the wind and falls over here, there's gonna be like a long tail. If they move their part ever so slightly, those hairs lay over. There's these little long hairs. So when you cut for a side part like this, one of the refinements would be that you go over a little and bring it down and cut those pieces. Because otherwise, they're gonna think you did a bad job. Because most people, their part does move a little bit. Unless they're following truly the natural part where the hair grows against it, away from itself. And then if you cut for the center, the same is true for a blunt. So if you cut for the center, you would go a little bit over here and put it over here, a little bit over here, put it over here, just clean up. It's gonna be like sprigs of hair. They're gonna be like this much longer, but if you do this crisp blunt line and then it moves, then you look like you don't know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? It looks like you cut anything, so you don't want that. So that's a great point, that you need to know where they cut their hair. What's one question you have?
Like asking them what they currently like about their hair, or like does it feel like too thick or thin?
What they currently like about their hair?
Yeah.
Is that the first question you said?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if they love their bangs and you tell them to grow them out, I think you have to hear those things. So that's very important to know what they love, keep that, and remove what they don't love. What's one question you have?
How often are you able to come back to maintain your haircut?
Why is that more important than anything else?
Because you don't want to give someone a really nice haircut and then have them not be able to come in and then it just looks wonky. You want to keep it like if it's a high maintenance hairstyle, you have to be committed to it. Otherwise it's going to look funky.
They're gonna hate it after 4 weeks. The average haircut maintains 4 weeks. I mean, shorter you go. So if it's someone with long hair and they're deciding to make this shift to short hair, it's not as simple as, well, then I'll just grow it out. Cut it short and then I'll just grow it out. Well, it looks awful after 4 weeks for 6 months. So that's a great point. So because you're asking them that question, it is then also important to educate them on when they should come back. And that is where the pre-book comes in, is that education of the maintenance on that haircut. Long hair still needs to be cut, but not as often as shorter hair. So what do you think the difference is? Short hair, how often should they come in?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. Longer hair?
10 to 12.
10 to 12. They can live in the 3-month world, but it's not once a year. It is not a once a year haircut. Or their ends are looking scraggly, especially if they have color or highlights. It's a 3 to 4 months. If they're healthy hair, no color, they don't really do anything to it, they could push it 6 months if they take care of their hair. If they're not swimming, it depends. Other things ruin your hair. So just being mindful of that and then educate them on that. And my response is always this: I want you to love your hair always. I want you to look like you never get it done. I want it to look like status quo always. People know what to expect from them and they look a certain way. It's like wearing a nice dress every day. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so if I want you to put that somewhere so that you know, when should I come back? Your professional recommendation is that shorter hair is every 4 to 6 weeks and longer hair is between 10 and 12. And medium is somewhere in the middle. Do they have a lot of layers? Then they need to maintain that. Is it a blunt one length? Then they potentially could come a little less. So you already have a recommendation. Not, I don't know, when should she come back? If they have bangs, how often should they come back?
Does the length of the bang determine how often they come back? Like if it's a baby bang, 2 weeks versus like a curtain bang, like 5 weeks?
They grow no faster than the rest of your hair. The challenge is that they are in your eyes. So they grow no faster. Everyone say my bangs grow so much faster than the rest of my hair. Nope, it's all growing at the same rate. It's just that you can see the growth because it's in your eyes. So yes, the maintenance is different. But I'm gonna tell you, if they're not coming to you, they're cutting it because it's in their eyes. I often try to find a happy medium where they're not coming in every 2 weeks, but realistically, you could cut bangs every 2 weeks at any length to keep them where you want them with always looking the same. But that's not realistic unless they're coming into you for blow dries. I do have clients that come in for blow dries and I snip their bangs when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? They're here weekly for blow dries, so I'm gonna snip their bangs when needed. But realistically, they're not gonna make it 6 weeks. They're not gonna make it 8 weeks. They're gonna be cutting them. And if some people have mastered how to cut them enough that it looks okay, but it's not like got them too short or they're too long. The problem is if they start cutting into your line, then when you go to cut them, you can't make them look the way they did the first time. So you have to figure out the client, I think, with that, because can they get here every 2 weeks? Can they get here every 3 weeks? Can they get here every 4 weeks? And what are you going to do about that? Like, what's the solution? And it's individual. But people are like, I know you're gonna be mad, I cut my bangs. I'm like, I'm not gonna be mad. Like, I understand, they're poking you in the eye. Of course you're gonna cut your bangs. But tell me what you're doing at home. That's another education with them. It's like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Do you have 15 minutes, style your bangs, and stop by and I'll cut them? You know what I mean? That's another option. Like, have them do, like, you can squeeze that into anywhere in your day. Do you know what I'm saying? And you can help them out with a bang trim. So just something, and that's something that we've always, like a maintained guest, we've always offered that as complimentary. Like, they're here every 4 weeks, but they're coming in every 2 for their bangs. They get that complimentary, like pop in, dry bangs, snipper. Does that make sense? So, but how are you having that conversation? Because bangs are different. It's like having a short haircut in your eyes. So, that's something to be thinking about. So I would say 3 weeks would be the average, realistically. Unless they have, different circumstances. But I have guests that come in every 3 weeks for color. And maybe they don't get a full haircut, they get one every 6 weeks, but they get bangs every 3 weeks. Just depends.
Don't we have a thing in there, just like it's a bang trim, like 15 minutes?
There's a 15-minute bang trim, there's a 30-minute bang trim. The reason there's a difference in that variation is trimming bangs and cutting new bangs, 2 different things. Trimming bangs, you're gonna find the part line that's there, you're going to trim the bottom. Creating bangs or cutting new bangs, you have to create the part, decide where it's gonna go, how it's gonna fall. It's a full haircut. It's just a mini one. But it's there's lots of decisions to be made. So we'll go into how to cut bangs in the product knowledge class, but just in FYI, when we're talking about consultation. What's one question you have on yours?
How short they would like to go.
What if they say, I like it the way it was last time, but you didn't cut it? How can you figure out what that looks like? Ask them.
For a picture.
Okay. A lot of clients take selfies after their haircut. That's a great way, unless you're older clientele is not going to do that, right? They're not taking selfies of themselves. I'm not even taking selfies of myself. So over 40, you're going to have a lot less people taking selfies of themselves. So if they don't have a fresh picture of a haircut, there is a way to determine how short they had it. How long does hair grow? Like, how fast does hair grow as an average? A quarter inch a month. Okay? If you ask the question when their last haircut was, you can then determine based on what you're looking at. If they have a short haircut and they like it over the ears, you can determine based on how far it's grown over the ear, how short you should be taking it in an average everywhere. Does that make sense? If it's a medium length and they say it's been 6 months, they want it back where it was, first you're going to reference a body part, right? And then you're going to kind of think, well, if it grows a quarter of an inch a month How much is that in 6 months? Aren't you glad you became a cosmetologist so you had to do math? I thought I was done with math. But what would that be? So it's a 1/4 inch a month. What does it grow in 6 months? 4 quarters and $1, yep. 1.5 inches. That's it in 6 months. Something to think about. Now, if they got their hair cut and it was colored last, and you're doing a color and a cut, how else could you look? What would determine it? The roots. Take the same amount off as you put on. You know what I mean? You're painting on, you're cutting off. So there are some key things. How short they want it, they don't know the answer to that question unless it's like long hair. But when it's medium or shorter hair, they don't have as much of a reference because it's all different lengths all over. So I'm glad you asked that question. It's important to know, but not all haircuts are created equal. So as a professional, you have to identify some key factors of how it should be based on how long it's been. Some people will say, well, my hair grows really fast. And so it can grow up to 1/2 inch a month. So then if you're really unsure, you can get some reference points, like where they like it to fall on their jawline, where they like it to fall on their ear, where they like, different reference points will help you. So what else about consultation? I had you write 3, but I only had to share 1 because I wanted everybody to have one good one. What other key factors about consultation?
How much work are they willing to put into their haircut to maintain it?
So how much at home, like what are they willing to do?
Style it? Are they not willing to style it? How much product are you going to need to maintain the style? Like any hot tools? Because they can't come in every single time they want their hair to look nice, like every day.
Right.
So
that's a really, what is their home maintenance? Not only coming back to you, but what do they do every day when they're styling is a really important factor to haircut. Not only what they do within their morning routine style, but what they do within their life is really important. So for example, if you have an active person who pulls their hair up, but you make their layers fall out of their ponytail, they hate their hair. So knowing their lifestyle is really imperative and not necessarily in depth, just so are you active? Are you athletic? Do you walk? Do you wear hats? Do you golf? I mean, how do you wear your hair when you do that? The visor thing is a big thing here. A lot of women like to wear visors. Then their hair does this poof. If it's got layers in it, it does this weird poof that can look awful. And it sits over the top and then there's this flying thing. So it's gotta be long enough to be held under the visor or it sticks up like cake plus 8 outside the visor. And it just doesn't look great. So it's important to be mindful of what is their lifestyle. What do they do for work? So for example, a hygienist is looking down. So if there's hair while they're looking down in people's mouths, how can they see to do their job? And that's just one example. So what do they do for work? Are we supporting what they do for work or are we making it harder? So lifestyle in a whole, how much do they put in the morning to their style? If they have to flat iron this because of their hair type and they want it straight and they are not flat ironing, they're not going to have it look the way that it looks. The way you maintain guest relationships is that you help them create this style, recreate the style at home up to 75% of the way you do it. If they cannot make it look like that, then you did a bad job in their mind. You gave them an awful haircut, but you have to educate them on how to change if you're making a change. Does that make sense? So that's really important. What else about consultation might we be missing? What do you got?
what's your end goal?
What's your end goal? So knowing their vision or a picture of what they want to see, which is why we're doing these planned out haircuts, so that we plan out a picture. Does that make sense? Often they will have a picture and ready to go, but not always. If they want to maintain status quo, want to see pictures of themselves, Doesn't have to be the fresh haircut. I wanna see pictures of them throughout the time of the haircut growing out and how they're styling it themselves. That's really helpful. You can give a beautiful haircut, but if you get the consultation wrong, then the haircut is crappy in the client's mind. You butchered them because it's too short, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how often have you heard like, oh my God, I got my hair butchered? Do you really think there's butchers out there, or do you think there's bad communicators? Maybe a little bit of both, right? But if you're technically sound and you're not getting the consultation right, then you're not maintaining clients. The consultation is more important than the skill level, because if the skill level, if you meet the mark, they asked for 1 inch, you took 1 inch, and it was their 1 inch and not your 1 inch, and if their 1 inch and not your 1 inch, you know what I'm saying? You met the mark. And a good communicator with mediocre skill is going to do better than a poor communicator with great skill, because you're never getting it right. Does that make sense? So consultation is more important than your skill level. Meaning, if you get the consultation wrong, it's all wrong. Does that make sense? And often, there are times when you're communicating with someone and you just can't figure it out. It happens. This is when you pull in somebody else. So it could be your neighbor. I sit here, so I'm like, my neighbor. And I'll say, and they're standing there listening the whole time. I mean, they can hear the conversation. And if you have a great neighbor, they'll kind of be like, oh, she don't know what she's, like, she has no idea what that client's talking about, and might help you. Or you can always say, well, what do you think? And it's not saying you don't know, but it's just pulling in another professional opinion based on what they're saying. And sometimes you're stumped. Sometimes you really don't know the answer. And that's okay. It's okay to not know. It's not okay to just push forward and do it wrong. So asking for help and knowing how to do that in a professional manner. And sometimes you have to walk away and say, you know what, I'm going to bring somebody else over just to ask their thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just knowing how to do that professionally and not make yourself look like saying things that makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So it's just really about how you say that. So when you don't know, because that's going to happen a lot, I want you to think of how can you say that in front of the guest without saying that.
Did you go into golf? Did you think it was warm enough?
Because it doesn't make you look good if you go, I don't know. I have no idea. Or saying something that's like really what's going on in your mind, but it shouldn't come out. Because then if they lose confidence, they're uncomfortable, they can't trust you. So how can you ask someone else without making yourself look bad? Any ideas?
And then you're fine.
So you should just say, I'm gonna go talk to another professional about it, or like, what do you think?
Just be like, maybe get a second opinion.
A second opinion, talking to somebody else about it. Those are perfectly fine. It's I just have seen in the moment where you freeze and you go, I don't know. I don't know. Oops, never good. Okay? Awesome. They're thinking. I mean, silence is better than, like, gathering your thoughts is better than saying something that makes a guest feel uncomfortable. So, it's okay to not know. It's also okay to say something is above your skill level. For example, here's a perfect example. I don't do extensions. I don't do them. I can't do them. I don't want to do them. It's not my thing. So I'm not going to stand there and pretend. Like that fake it till you make it is more about faking the confidence, not faking the skill. Okay? So I want to be clear about that. I want you to look like you know what you're doing. But when it's something that you cannot do, what you say is, I think this person would be a great fit for you. They specialize in this area, blah, 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 whatever that looks like. But I refer my guests to extension specialists. If this haircut is a senior level haircut, and you know it, and you're just gonna wiggle your way through it and pray, don't do it. recommend a senior stylist that cutting is their thing and say, I'll be happy to help you, but I think this person is a better fit for you. Or the haircut that you're looking for is really a master precision cut. So I really think you would match better with this person. I'll be happy to set that up for you. But you're better off not doing it than muddling through, putting holes in it or whatever, and then getting yourself in a situation. Does that make sense? So it's okay, especially in our salon, it is okay to do that. You're not going to be in trouble. Obviously, you have to be capable of cutting hair to be doing hair on the floor. But if you come across that situation where it got booked on you and they were very clear they wanted a senior stylist, and they tell you like, are you a senior stylist? Like from the front, you're like, oh, it's okay to say, no, I'm not, I'm a bronze level stylist. But if that's what you were looking for, I'm happy to help you, and I can get you set up with the right person. I'm sorry that happened, or whatever, you know what I mean? But just be aware of how you can handle things on the front end. And sometimes they're not up front on the phone. They don't get enough questions on the phone, so then they get a color correction in your chair, and it's the same situation. You're like, this is an 8-hour service. Why did they, why they put this on me and from door start? So those things are okay. So I know we spent a lot of time on consultation this morning, but I just want to be really clear that consultation is more important than what we're about to do. You've got to be able to do this, but without consultation, it's all wrong. So before we do the haircut, you had a shampoo bottle or conditioner bottle assigned. So I want you to grab it and then come back and talk about it. So this is, it's somebody's personal notes, but these are samples, so you can take a picture of it before you leave. Because I'm gonna then assign you these guys. So make sure that they have it. Okay, so who wants to go first? You don't mind? Okay, so what do you have? What's its name?
Moisture and Shine shampoo.
Okay, Moisture and Shine shampoo. Tell me something about Moisture and Shine shampoo.
So Moisture and Shine is color preserving, so it doesn't take out your color that way.
So it's safe for color.
It helps prevent cuticle damage. It doesn't weigh like down the hair too much.
So it's lightweight moisture.
It's cruelty free, and it has a concentrated formula.
What does that mean? Do you know? And if you don't, that's okay.
I guess like how thick the shampoo is.
Essentially.
And it's environmentally friendly.
Okay. How many of you have used Moisture and Shine shampoo? What's your experience with it?
It's like a good, but not every day, but they're just using it as like a regular shampoo, I guess.
So great for all hair types, except for maybe one, I would say. What do you think would not want moisture?
Very fine.
If they're looking for volume, that lightweight might be too heavy, but someone with oily hair, we're gonna avoid Moisture and Shine. They don't want shine. They want like dull. They want to dull out the oil that's producing in their hair.
So like clarifying.
Clarifying your volume.
Volume and shine. Is the volume and shine and clarifying like, it's not the same, right? But they just,
It's not the same as the clarifying we use on the back.
okay.
The volume and shine has a clarifying quality to it, but it's
That's why
not.
like it always like, feels the same once it comes out.
What do you mean?
Like I see like shampoo done and like rinse it out and like the hair always pretty like clean like how you use
It is cleaner. It is removing things that are going to weigh down the hair. So yes, I think it's grapeseed or apple. Not even close. Grapeseed and apple are far different. But it has an apple cider based formula. That's what they're using to like clarify off the cuticle. But that's a very gentle way of doing it. So yes. Okay, what do you got?
the keratin conditioner.
The care therapy.
Yes.
Okay, tell me something about it.
It's good for chemically and colored hair. So like if they got like the keratin therapy like treatment,
Like the Brazilian blowout.
like the Brazilian blowout where they like get their hair
Yep.
and they have like chemicals. It's good to use this so it keeps their hair like preserved like longer. And it's salt and sulfate free.
So it's salt free for sure. It's a conditioner, so it's sulfate free. So let's talk about that. Lots of bottles say it. What does a sulfate do? What is its purpose? What are sulfates found in? Shampoos or conditioners?
You know, after you told me that.
Shampoos. So any bottle of conditioner
Is sulfate.
should say sulfate free because it's the like suds, the soaping part. Remember when sulfate free came out years ago and you put it on your hair and it was like, nothing's happening. It wouldn't set up because they didn't figure out a replacement for sulfates. They just replaced it basically with a gentler, well, the higher end product that says sulfate free is going to have a more gentler replacement. Your lower end products that say sulfate free, it's a cheaper ingredient.
That's good.
And so therefore it is not the best ingredient. Does that make sense? So sulfate free is specifically shampoo. Conditioner is sulfate free. It doesn't have a sud in it, right? A soap. So that's a marketing ploy when it says sulfate free sometimes on conditioner. It also is there because people have moved into this, I don't want any sulfates. So it's also on conditioner. But you can educate a guest that all conditioners are sulfate free. The salt free, we're going to come back to because that's a great point that you brought up, but we're going to come back to that because all of our products in this line are salt free. So
Didn't they just make it all salt free recently, or was it all?
this new product line, yes.
What is petrochemical? It says petrochemical free.
Tell me. I have no idea. But it's, again, like anything that they're putting on a product, so I would Google that, look at that. You know, we also have a link to the chemist to find out. But it might actually be right here. Hold on, you have the conditioner. Let's see what it says in the link. Salt and sulfate free. A must for maintaining keratin smoothing treatments. Doesn't say. So that's interesting. But it's just like cruelty free is a marketing. But we're gonna come back to salt.
I didn't hear you.
What do you got?
Oh, okay.
Daily
Okay.
conditioner.
My instinct.
Well, way down here.
Now the water is getting
Okay.
It's free of gluten, parabens, and formaldehyde, as well as the salt and
Yes,
sulfate.
it is.
There's noni berry oxidants that condition longer hair. And there's also argan, marula, avocado, and grapeseed oils in this formula to moisturize the hair. And it replenishes emollients after chemical services on the cuticle.
See my scar?
Who's used this one for detangling?
Yeah.
Oh, for the tingling.
Like you've used it because their hair retangles, so you've used it and you've rinsed it out. Have you used it? Have you used the moisture trying at the back part? Have you noticed it has a more slip?
So it won't be noticed.
So when you're looking at these two products side by side, these are two of our main conditioners, right? This one is strengthening. This one's moisture. This one has moisture in it, but what does the client need? Is their hair dry or damaged? That's an easy decipher of which one you should recommend. If their hair is dry and damaged, which is usually the case, if they need more slip on the hair, you can use this. Do you know what I mean? To detangle. Like let's say it's bleached hair that is
You're never afraid to get it.
tangling together, like really damaged. You can use this to help get more slip.
Could you cocktail them?
You can,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I feel like a little bit goes a long way.
These are highly concentrated, and we're going to talk about that
Well, that's one.
as well. So the fact that they're salt-free and that they're highly concentrated.
They just.
What do you have?
I got the Connector shampoo.
Yes.
It's salt and sulfate free. It's gluten free,
I
formaldehyde
didn't even
free.
wash my hair. It is, isn't it? I think.
That's
it is
okay.
anyway.
Oh, that helps with
That's
that
good
gray.
too.
It's good for like keratin, color, and chemical treatments.
So you don't have to like know these things verbatim, but you all have said things that you could share that even if it's written on the bottle, you can share that as this is why I'm choosing it. Right? Highly concentrated. What does that mean? Well, according to our chemist, who came from Kenra, in case you didn't know that. So our chemist came from Kenra. She opened her own business with a partner. She came and educated us on all these products. It was the best thing that ever could have happened for me, because what it did was educate me on all products professionally made versus private label. That's what we are. We have a private label product. It's unique for 2 reasons. I don't know if you know this, but Kenra, L'Oreal, Redken, Paul Mitchell, all these big brand names that put their name on the bottle all get bottled in the same manufacturing. There's like 4 or 5 in the country, and they all go to the same place and get bottled by the same factory. Okay? And the ingredients aren't like hand-picked like ours are. Ours are hand-picked, they're bottled in their facility. That's why we don't have hairsprays from this company, because they don't have an aerosol bottling machine. I would rather have their shampoos in the shampoo. Does that make sense? Like, so our products are private labeled, they're high-end, they're concentrated. So concentrated means what? I had no idea how highly concentrated, but when she was comparing it, ours are no more than 50% water, and other shampoos get up to 90% water. That is something that she stands by as the owner of the company. So when you use a little, you have to add the water to the hair instead of the water in the bottle. So that means that bottle is going to last them longer. I've heard people say highly concentrated many times in different avenues of shampoo. I've personally experienced that my guests buy shampoo less from me when they buy these shampoos. It's true, they are highly concentrated. I had a bottle myself, it lasted longer than I expected. It's a small bottle, you think, it's whatever for that small bottle, it's like double the shampoo. Something you can educate them on what highly concentrated means. Does that make sense? So it says, we know it, you can read it somewhere, it might even say it on the bottle, but it says here, it may say it on the bottle, but what does that mean? So something that she also kind of shared with us was that, have you ever noticed that your hair, like you're using the same shampoo and all of a sudden your hair becomes immune to it? But you've like bought this shampoo for 2 years, but now all of a sudden, what happens is the quality of the ingredients went down because the price of the ingredients went up. So the CEO was like, that product's not making quota, so we're gonna lower the quality of the product. We're gonna add more water. We're not gonna buy this argan oil. We're gonna buy this one because it's cheaper. And so the products that she chooses, she seeks out higher quality ingredients. Does that make sense? So it's a guarantee that we're getting a higher quality product. So just for FYI. The Moisture and Shine and Daily Diligence are a good pair together, especially for dry hair. The Keratherapy and Keratherapy shampoo and conditioner is a good pair. They're made to work together. It's a good pair if there's damaged hair or if they have a Brazilian or keratin treatment. However, you can say, well, I'm going to recommend this shampoo with this conditioner, and you can interchange them. We also have the Volume and Shine, which your friends that are taking their test today are assigned, but I'm going to lightly go over it so that you can kind of educate a little bit. So the Volume and Shine is going to have a slight clarifying effect. So I personally do not recommend that for a guest with a Brazilian blue or a keratin. I just don't. Even if they want volume, I'm not suggesting that shampoo because it's going to minimize their keratin. It also, so it says for all hair textures, for finer hair textures, an infrequent shampoo. So think about that. It's for finer hair textures and infrequent shampooers. It's gonna do its job, but it could be drying. What conditioner could you recommend to go with volume and shine? The Daily Indulgence. So,
Oh, I was gonna ask. You said you can't use like the volume and shine shampoo for let's say like if they have like.
I wouldn't recommend it. It is sulfate free, but
Could
I
you
wouldn't
use
recommend
the volume and conditioner? At the to use it or would that be?
it. Does conditioners have sulfates? So can I use the volume conditioner?
So that would be like a good.
Yes. It's important to know whether they have a Brazilian or not, so you're supporting that. I think that's an often missed mark at the associate level is whether does this guest have a Brazilian. They may not have gotten it today, they only get it every 3 months, you may have never seen them before. You know, it might be the first time that you're shampooing this guest, but if they have Brazilian, you should be choosing hair therapy to support it.
How often can you use the moisture and shine or the volume?
Ask the question again.
How often
Should you shampooing in general or
yeah,
these
if
products?
you tell the client you can take this home if they ask you.
So I personally ask how often they shampoo. They're not going to listen to, they have a routine. They're shampooing every day, they're shampooing every second day. You can educate them on what is correct, which I would say everyday shampooing is drying and fades color and too much. But if I have a guest who is swimming in the pool every day, then I want them to shampoo their hair. So it depends on their
I was
routine.
surprised at that.
But I'm happy if a guest washes their hair every other
Seven
day.
blondes.
Any more than that, that's a little bit much.
But they can use the moisture and shine like every other day.
So this is what the products say about concentrates. It's concentrated formulas for value and environmental friendliness. So it's because it's less plastic. Some people use like shampoo bars to avoid plastic altogether. That's the way that this is environmental friendly, if that makes sense. And then the other one we have is the blueberry and beet root. Have you used it?
Yes.
Is it safe for everyday shampooing? Or every time shampooing, I should say. Because if the guest shampoos once a week, but if they use the blueberry and beet every time they shampoo, it's too much.
And it's a purple shampoo, no?
It is a purple shampoo. Some purple shampoos are safe for everyday use. This one is going to be too concentrated, too much. They're going to have a purplish, bluish tone to their hair if they use it too often. So it's important to educate them on that dye load will do that. But then also that it's blueberry and this is beer. It's beetroot. That's interesting. Brightens and whitens blonde color, neutralizes brassy tone, hydrates, refreshes, and shines hair. This is where this one I feel like for me is very different. It's a little bit more expensive, but worth it. Most purple shampoos are drying. It's color in a bottle. Color is drying. This one is not. I shouldn't say that. It's not as drying as most. Does that make sense? Because of the ingredients it's using to do that. So it's strong and it's not as drying. But another like Finola is a common one. It's very intense and blondes love it because it has a very strong effect. But that is drying because it has so much toning effect. So it's just, you are sacrificing one thing for another. So if they're at home using canola to maintain their blonde and that's what they want and they insist on it, then you need to follow up with a moisturizing conditioner, like intense. And maybe they need a deep conditioner in between. Does that make sense? So just learning about that. So that's all the ones that you have, and then I kind of briefly overview. They're going to have to tell us about theirs. I'll leave this here. You can take pictures if you don't have a packet in your salon or know where it is. Salt-free. This is a big move in the hair industry, so it's important that they know it's salt-free. But what do salts do?
I used to have a friend.
Texturize. What else does it do? Is it drying or moisturizing?
To
So just
the
a
salon
couple like key things.
and get a head massage.
Yes, I agree that it does dry hair,
That's
but
what she
for someone
wanted.
like me
me, like when I go to the ocean, my hair like curls amazing.
So what can you give them to support them?
It is, it's
A texture, something that is for texture. But when it's in your shampoos and conditioners, it's dry. Is sea salt from the ocean good for your hair?
I mean, she gets in there so hard with her
So when you're cleansing the hair, does that make sense? And so salts are being really for our shampoos and conditioners, but ours are having. But I want you to think of like ways you can present your products that are different from what you've learned today. They are private label products that makes us unique and different. They cannot be bought anywhere. However, your seasonal guests can purchase them online and we will ship them for free if they purchase a certain amount. It's free shipping. And I think they really have to
she's an
buy
older woman,
one bottle and it might be free shipping now.
knows what she's doing.
So, I mean, not a travel size, but I think it's $35 and it's free shipping online. I should look into that because that's the last time I checked and it may be different now, but
Also, they're able to buy it online.
they can purchase it online. Go ahead and open up our
What
website
else is out there before I go?
because this is important. This is what your guests are seeing. If you don't know what our website looks like, you should.
Actually, I picked this
And try to purchase a product and see how it looks.
darker shades. And
So that you can educate a guest on products.
when she was done,
Like they're going home, but they don't want to travel with them. Let them know that they can purchase
pick
it.
it up. And every month you just bring it, or every 3 weeks, just bring it, and we use it.
I'll take those back so that you guys
Wow, how
can
nice
look
is
that
that?
up. I think this is your main stuff. This is Katie, but she's not actually here. She just set up for it. But I told her, so you can just steal a different tray and you can use this stuff. And then maybe like.
Oh, boy. This is great. Oh, I am, yes. I can still see what's going on around me. Yes. It's great. Yes, okay, okay.
You want some? Little prosciutto and.
Okay, so. Did you find it?
Yeah.
And is it easy to get to?
Yeah. They still gotta pay $7 for shipping.
Okay, so it's $7 for shipping.
But that's just for like 30.
I wonder, can you add 2 and see if that goes away? And how important that you're like you know what your guest reads online. If you're sending them to, bless you, online to purchase a product when they're home.
Oh, it's free shipping for $40.
Okay, so they upped it by 5. Okay,
Yeah.
so over $40 is free shipping. I knew that we probably still offered it. We wouldn't get rid of it. I just didn't know what it was. So essentially, they have to buy 2 bottles of product because it's $39.95. And see, at 35, our products used to be $29.95, and so that makes sense that the free shipping went to like buy 2 bottles. So now you know that. Do you know that they can also book online?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just for awareness, our website's come a long way. Great. What questions do you have about products in the immediate, just the ones we went over? No. Okay, so I want you to practice a conversation that's a more meaty. It can be, this is what I'm using and this is why I'm using it, but more of like, not guessing. Okay, they're salt-free, they're sulfate-free. If that's all you got, something that's a hard fact about the product that you know. I'm choosing this for, or, Jen recommended this for moisture because your hair is dry, it's highly concentrated, so you're gonna use less. What does that look like? You gotta start thinking about those conversations, because every guest, every time that you put anything in their hair, this is what I'm using, this is why. This is what I'm using, this is why. That's educating them on the product. The next step is, this is how I'm using it, right? I use this much in your hair, this is how I apply it, but for right now, this is what I'm using, this is why. This is what Jen recommends, this is why. Like if your stylist recommended it and that's the route you want to take, that's fine too. But those verbiage, it doesn't take away from the relaxing part of the shampoo, it's just educating them on the product that's in their hair. And every guest should know that we have private label products. If they don't know that, we miss the mark. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the 6 steps, is educating them on what we have. It's like going somewhere and your friend gets a deal and you don't get the deal. Like, I didn't know they offered that. It's like, you feel left out. Do you know what I'm saying? So, just something to think about. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this head and then you're going to cut your head. And then you're gonna style it. And then we'll refine it. So we're doing a 1 length. What type sections are we going to take?
Horseshoe.
What do we call those? Horizontal, vertical, or diagonal? Horizontal. Where are we going to part the hair? Possibly. If I cut down the middle, why would I choose down the middle? That's your part. Why else?
Balance the
It will create balance left to right. There's one other reason. I'm looking for a water bottle. Mine just goes like 0. What if she moves her part?
There's one up there on Crystal Station.
You can see it.
Yep.
Oh, the pink one? So if they move their part, if you part through the center, then they can part it anywhere. What if we went for the natural part? How would I find the natural part?
Why don't you just like comb it forward and then push it? See that it splits naturally.
Not forward, but
Back.
backward. So combing all the hair back. And what is the natural part? What does that even mean to you when I say natural part?
Where the hair naturally splits.
Yes, so the angle of the follicles coming out of the head literally are growing like this. If you fight that, it can do a couple of things. So if I'm not really on my natural part. My natural part is over here. Do you see how this is going up and over? What is that creating? Volume. If you go against the natural part, you can help them with volume. So if their hair splits over here, and then you force the hair to go up and over it, if they're struggling with volume, that could be an option. It also could mean that they can't style it because they don't have that styling capability. If they're like really not good at styling, they might not be able to do that. So being aware of what they're capable of. So the way that you find that natural part is you're going to comb it all back and you're going to push it forward, and where it splits is the natural part.
You know I hate cold water. That's all right.
Hers is slightly off center. But currently, what's in style? Middle part. That's currently what's in style. So I just wanted you to be able to see how to find a natural part. We're going to cut for the center today. So I'm going to go straight down the center. When I part the hair, I'm placing my finger and I'm drawing the comb to my finger. This is not a pencil, so you will not draw.
I've had to
The comb.
I've had to shower in cold water.
Cutting is not is not equal to blow drying. In blow drying, we want kind of imperfect sections, meaning we don't want a perfect line, because if we have a perfect line, then we create separation. So then you have this like hair here, hair here, hair here, hair. So we don't want perfect lines. We want to use our clips to section when we're doing blow drying. But when we're cutting hair, we want precise lines because that line we're going to cut parallel to. Yes?
Yes.
But we are not braiding.
Yes.
I don't know if I have any graders in here, but we're not going to split hairs. Like this one goes over here, and this one goes. We're not creating that kind of, precise. We're creating precise, not perfection. There's a difference. But I feel like graders tend to. So we're going to divide it down the middle, and for me, I like to cut this in 2 sections. If you need to do 4, that's fine. But we work bottom to top. I like you to connect the sides so that you have a guide. So I work in 2 sections, not 4, in this particular haircut. If you can't control 2 and you need 4, that's fine. So how big is my first section going to be?
No one told us about that. Until last year.
1 width or 2?
Mentioned.
2. The first section is going to be 2 combs width. The reason it's going to be that is to avoid any of those baby hairs underneath, and so that it's thick enough when I take my next combs width section, it's visible through that line, that the line's thick enough. In the event that you had a guest with really thick hair, you might have to back that off, but that's not going to be rare. I mean, that's going to be rare. 2 combs width should be pretty safe. So the mirror is your best friend. It's a second set of eyes that helps you see whether your line is straight or not. And I need this side to match that. So, and you can stand up so you can see in the mirror if you'd like. But what you're looking for is that these are balanced and even all ways. Otherwise, left doesn't match right. In this particular instance where you're cutting horizontally, it's really important that they match in the center and that these corners match. Because as it moves up, we do things differently as we get around here. Does that make sense? Now, sometimes people tilt the head, sometimes people keep the head upright. What's the difference in the end result when you're cutting?
Straight on, because like more accurate representation of where that hair is going to live versus your neck. The hair is here, going to move slightly.
Exercises to do.
So yes. So what does it do if I tilt your head down? Does it create it shorter underneath or longer? Shorter. Why would we want that?
Just common sense.
It does create a slight graduation. What happens down here at the hairline?
Yes.
Those baby hairs. There's cowlicks under there. There's things that happen so that when they stick their head up, if you cut evenly, sometimes what I've noticed is you'll get a tail underneath. So I'd like you to practice this haircut head down and cut it. Just for the back. I mean, the sides just gotta straighten up. And then I want you to cut straight up. And I want you to identify the difference. When would you tilt the head down and when would you not? So when you're practicing this haircut, first all I want you to do is keep the head down and master that blunt line with the head tilted down. Then I want you to take your doll head and make her straight up and then styling them and seeing the difference, because that's the way you're really going to understand, not just me telling you. So today, we're going to start with the head tilted down, okay? I am going to turn it around so you can see. I just wanted you to see the mirror and utilize the mirror for your straight line. Now, we're going to keep the hair evenly down. Why? What does that do?
I think so.
Say it again.
I can't imagine anything else.
It allows you to comb through the hair evenly. What does wet hair do?
Stretch.
Does it stretch more or less? more. So if this hair is wet and this hair is starting to dry, you're gonna get an uneven result. Remember that we talked about combs, so which comb side are we going to use? I'm gonna live in the medium world because of the hair texture that I'm working with. If you need to use fine teeth, that's fine. Fine, that's fine. But you have to stay consistent. So whatever you start with, you're gonna stay with. So you're gonna wanna get up and come look. I have to raise this because this isn't working.
At 81.
Can you pull that? Pull out, all the way down, and then block it. Okay. Okay, so first make sure that that client is still. And then if I put my finger underneath, what's gonna happen? Gonna create elevation and create elevation. So I'm not gonna do that because I'm on her neck. If your hair is down here, then you have to. There's no back, there's nothing. So when you comb it down, just make sure it's touching the neck, come down, and you can hold it in your fingers. You're gonna cut the center first. So you're gonna comb this down, and you're gonna cut.
And my oldest sister, she's a traveling nurse. She works in Sarasota. My little sister,
I just follow my scissors. This is where they're going, so that's the direction I'm gonna keep going. Sometimes I will do this. And hold and cut. It's hard to do this. It pushes because the neck is plastic. So for her, I'm gonna put it in the comb. And if the hair is not cooperating, take your scissors closed behind and get it where you want it. What do you notice about my over direction right now? Where's it
On the other
going?
side. Yeah,
Backwards.
yeah, the other side.
Because if this is going to lay across her back, this is going to come backwards.
That way. And then I thought, why am my hand?
When it falls forward, there's a slight, but when it comes back here, it should be a straight line. Yes?
But that only took about 50 years to figure out.
Also, you can come this way. And back. Okay, so now, the correct, and if you want to cut guide out, then on this side you can cut backhand. Otherwise, you're cutting to the guide, which is like this. Neither way is wrong, I'm just showing you.
the sides, not
You see if I match the guide?
Short.
So when I lay my scissors, it's like this. It's not up into.
But you're working on the side that grows.
Now this is the first cut. If this is wrong, the rest is wrong. So I'm really gonna spend some time making sure it's exactly how I wanna see it. And I'm going to check my corners, so this side's a little bit longer. See how it's like playing with that little edge? See it right there? What I want to point out, and I purposefully put my tripod this way, is that I made these legs in my way so I pretended there was a body so I don't step here. If I step here and I bring this down, do you see how much I would cut off? So that would make it a U. I'm not trying to make a U today. See, I'll show you on this side too. You see how much I would take off? So now I'm going to switch to one comb twist. What I really want to see is your sectioning ability. That needs to be crisp and clean and in a timely manner. And if you want to have easier sectioning, you notice that I comb it in the direction I'm about to draw the line. I'm not going to cut any of this right now. See how baby thin that is? I'm I'm just gonna cut the back because this isn't enough of a guide on the sides. So I'm gonna comb this straight down, and this was a graduated bob, so there's not gonna be a ton to cut. Just gotta balance it out. Once I get in this section, I'm not bringing this. Do you see how much over direction that would be? Not bringing that back there. That lives on the side of the head. You see what I'm talking about there? So now I'm going to move to the next section. I'm at the ear, and I'm going to tilt the head up and move the rest of the way with the head up. So I'm going to go up, and it is essentially a horseshoe.
Come in here.
But you see how this came on an angle, dropping down? I don't want that over the line. Straight. And this haircut is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections on each side. So don't overcomplicate it. I mean, maybe it's 6 or 7, depending on the head and the density, but it should not be 20. So before I move on to that other side, make sure I'm happy with this section. Because now I'm matching these two pieces. So I'm resetting a guide, so I'm going to take extra care here and here, because it's setting the tone for the sides. But if you notice that second section, I was like, boop, 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 done. I had a line underneath, it's easy to see.
Oh, that must have been happy. I'll bet you that's your
Okay, so nothing's going to change with start the back side, but if you notice these pieces don't meet, so I'm not going to overcompensate. If there's layers that don't meet it, it's okay. Don't find hair to cut when there's nothing to cut. If you have a brand new doll head, there's probably hair to cut every section, unless the top is like broken off and shouldered. Okay? So I'm going to start right here, playing, and essentially the reason we have this horizontal line, we place your comb, you follow it down. This comb should match this line, and these scissors should match that comb. If it goes like this, you see what happens? So that's why we take the time to section to let our line and our scissors match.
Just letting her hair go very too. But it looks like a streak in the front. It's not. She goes to whomever.
Do you see how it's slightly longer? Because her head was like this. So now I have to correct that. So if you catch that halfway through the haircut and you missed it in the beginning, you see that ever so slight amount that I just cut off. So the back is done, I'm going to come to the side. So, you see where my guide is? Not from
She
there.
wasn't bright for a long, long time. And
It's the longest short piece. You with me? So you're going to take this. Anything above the ear, you're going to place the scissor like this. Why do I do that?
She had a purple streak.
Yeah, the length, because then you're going to hold
Drove
it
from
here.
Boston. She had the purple.
So So you just place that just like that. I'm gonna do it again for the front portion, but see how this hair is dry? Yes, I am. In its basic form, this haircut shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. So you're gonna place that comb. Now when you comb this down, if you stretch, do you see this? Don't cut it off. That's because of the ear. So if you comb and you really, oh man, I gotta cut that off, then you cut a hole because that's why we did the tension release. Make sense?
Yes.
If you notice at this point that the head is crooked, just leave it for now because then you're gonna really mess yourself up. If you find it in the back, and once you get to the sides, leave it. So if you want to come over this way, so I'm going to find the longest short piece.
Talk to him.
The way that it's like hard, so you don't like fingers and stuff, it's not great.
You see how my comb moved, so I'm going to go back. Making sure that my comb matches this line, and my scissors match that line. You see, I almost did it myself.
I like it. And then it has like Lula and.
Then you're checking
That's a different.
this way. Now, this is minutely longer over here, so I want you to feel these two pieces, each of you. Go ahead and check those two pieces. Right in the front, right down. Do you feel it's like minutely? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and stop. You are not going to correct this way. It's so minute, you're going to kill yourself trying to find it. When it's dry and you style it, you'll find it and fix it much easier.
No, but I like
You feel it's like, and there's all like, so when you're doing this and you're checking, don't like, oh, I gotta fix it, I gotta fix it, I gotta fix it. Do you feel that difference? So it's like, it's there, it's off, but don't overthink this. Like it's always gonna be one side over the other. If it's this minute, you're gonna dry it and you're gonna refine it. If it's like this, you're gonna fix it. You know what I mean? If it's visibly longer, like you can really feel it. But when you're this minute, leave it. That's done in refinement. Anything 1/4 inch or less is refinement. And at this point, for this hair, I'm gonna bring this all down. It's not so thick that I can't see it. There's nothing in the back for me to cut. Just gonna bring this down and I'm gonna cut to the guide all the way around. When I'm in the crown, I'm gonna comb this down once and lay it down. If there's any cowlicks here, I'm going to insert my comb here to cut. You want to avoid combing this section over and over and over again because you're stretching it and you're creating, it's going to bounce back up in that one spot a lot higher. So you lay it down and insert your comb to cut below the crown every time. And you can comb under here as much as you want, but avoid that spot up there. So then you're just going to continue. Anything that you see. Now look at my feet. I'm still directly behind. I didn't step to the corner ever. So if you set your tripod up this way where your feet can't go, like it kind of, you kick it over if you step in the wrong space. Make sense? So I'm going to come to the side. When I'm above the parietal ridge, I no longer need to do this. Because that falls differently and it doesn't even touch the ear. It's just that. So when you're cutting, you want to see that line. So you want to be on my left shoulder, kind of here, or my right shoulder, so you can see. I want you to watch my scissors cut the line, so that you know how to cut to the guide. You see the guide? Can you see it underneath? Right there. Do you see it? So I'm cutting to it, not cutting it. Does that make sense? And then this front, on the doll, it just goes here, but naturally it should fall to the side of the brow bone. So you do want to comb it slightly over and make sure it's coming here because this is where it's going to live when you cut it. If you cut it here, you'll cut off this little peak. But it's not gonna live over her eye when you style it. It's gonna live over here. So if you cut it here, then it's gonna go like this instead of straight. So you wanna cut that over here. They're just little things you might not already know. Maybe nobody told you, I don't know. If you're cutting it in your finger, I'll cut this side of my finger. Do you see the guide? Make sure you leave it out of your finger enough that you can cut to the guide without messing with the guide. Now my sides are not going to match, even more so because I have this in my finger and I cut that in the comb. So if you do to one, do to the other. See how I'm cutting to the guide? That's what I really want you to focus on. What questions do you have? All right, wet it down, cut. Okay, so a couple things. One, I want to say that you guys are really detailed and paying attention to what you're doing, really aware. I want you to pretend like it's a human every time that we use a doll so that you create that habit of this is what I'm using, this is why, can she leave? So I wanted her to be styled to walk out the door. And the way that she's leaving today, when you practice this haircut this week, I want her to come back on Monday that exact way so we can look at her, inspect what she looks like, and then from there you can wet her easily because she'll be detangled or whatever you need. And those extensions we'll take out this week. Okay. This week you're going to do this between 4 and 10 times until you understand what happens when you go like this versus this, and that left matches right every time within less than a millimeter. You're going to bring that final haircut to me, styled like she's walking out the door. Understood? You can use different products throughout, so that you can get familiar with them, and really this week talking about shampoos and conditioners with your guests. So this is what I'm using, this is why. Yes? Okay, tell me something you learned today, something you're taking away, or questions, whatever you have. But I need to know what you're leaving with today, what you're gonna work on.
Stand up straight.
You standing straight?
No, like, and not like,
Remember.
I
not
guess
to
like
step
cutting,
out.
yeah, to like stay behind when you are cut instead of like.
So that you don't have a U and a
Yeah.
square.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
And she took on just the positioning of my feet and the way that my body is standing so that I can achieve the right angles for the haircut.
Probably like the positioning, like the comb and stuff. So the lines come out more even where it's like at the bottom you won't see as much like rigidness.
Inconsistency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being more aware of my part there, because I feel like with this side I was paying attention to the ear and the hair that was behind it, but this way I would just, I don't know,
You were just cutting.
going, yeah.
You just get in a mode and you cut and you forget all the things that happens. That even happens worse when you're talking to someone, the guest. So that's great. So just being mindful of that. So how long do you think this cut took you from start to finish?
35 minutes.
The wet cut? Yeah. And then your blow dries are speedy, but they need more finish work. So we got to work on sectioning. We got to work on getting those closer to get like more shine on the end result. I couldn't think of the word I was trying to say. More polish. So one of your things to do is to bring back something you observe on a new consultation that's different than a everyday consultation, yes? So we spent a lot of time on 2 6 steps today. Which were they?
Consultation.
Consultation,
Product recommendation.
we learned some product recommendation, and there's a third one we talked about as well, even though she's plastic and has no.
Home maintenance.
Home maintenance. We talked a lot about like pre-booking or what they need to do at home to make this look the way it is. So I really want you to you used a shampoo, a conditioner, a styler, and a hairspray, at least, right? So that's 4 products that you should have said, this is what I use, this is why. So it's about what you're using, why you're using it, and the end result you're getting. Yes? So that's what I want the practice skill to be. Any questions about that? Any questions that we didn't cover? So Dory works with you, and Elizabeth works with you. So when they say, what happened? I missed class. What do you say?
Learn like about the one lane and then just go over everything.
Okay.
What were the notes?
Can you please give them the homework in detail?
Yes.
So they're doing how many haircuts?
4 to 10.
4 to 10, depending. They're probably doing 10 because they didn't do 1. And I'm going to send them the video. How many haircut plans are you doing by next week?
3.
We're doing 3 plans for haircuts next week. And you're observing 1 consultation. I lost my marker to write it up on our homework, but it looks like you guys are writing it down. So if you could share that, I'm going to give them the video of the one link so that they can stay caught up. But anything that you found helpful today would be great to share with them. That's outside of like a video. So that's what you're returning with Monday. A fresh cut style doll head. 3 haircuts that you diagrammed and an observation of a new client consultation, and how is that different from the things that we talked about today? A repeat guest. That's all I have. I invited Rob to join us for a minute, and I'm going to give him the floor, unless you have anything for me.
Oh,
Yes.
You know the 50 blow dries?
Yes.
When do we have to do those by?
As soon as possible. The faster you do them, the better you'll be. So for example, this morning Katie did one at 9:30. So if you want to bring someone at 9:30, you just have to tell me. That way you can be done by 10. So it has to be a 30-minute blow dry. You don't want to bring your hair down to someone's hiding that you're 11 o'clock still blow drying. But or you could have them come at like 2, usually finish. You could do 2 to 3.
Okay.
Here or in Salon or at home, be taking pictures.
And then upload them.
Just send them to me on Slack DM. But it's really about the practice. And what I noticed in your blow dries today is that there's little tips and tricks that we're going to do, like we went over as you were blow drying these dolls, that you can kind of refine that skill. Great question. Anything else? Floor is yours, sir.
Thanks.
Where is everybody at with the blow dries, with the number of blow dries? Do you know how many you've got? You got 2?
I've only done 1.
1?
And
None yet? But you now know what you're
Yes.
going to do? Okay. What would you guess?
Well, she just started on the floor, like actually working last week.
yeah.
What would
Probably
you
had a couple already.
Okay. So you've done Maria before, no?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So all those count. Okay. All right. The sooner those are done, the better, because we do have a big demand for these memberships of blowouts that we have, and I would like you all to be a part of that soon, ASAP, because we had to actually cut that back a little bit because we had so many of them. We had to raise the price, and because it really caught on. So I need you all to be a part of that. So the sooner you get there, the better. The sooner you get ready for that. So whenever you have a free moment, be doing to be doing that service. So the other thing I mainly wanted to say today is, so I wanted to thank you for so we have a really good pool of you all right now. I'm really blessed to have this group because you're a group we're real excited about. And I appreciate you choosing this route because you could have done a lot of other ways. You could be on the floor somewhere else. You're out of school, whether you have the license or not. As soon as you get your license, you can go a different route. This is a tougher route for you. It's harder. There's more work to do. It's going to take more effort. It's going to take more time. It's going to take more from you to do this route. It's not the easy route, but it is building a foundation for you having a career that you love and having for the rest of your life, and it's not just about having a full book. I mean, it's more than that. It's about doing what you love, waking up every day doing what you love and making a difference in people's lives, like making people feel good for the rest of your life, like having the privilege of doing that and being a part of a really special team. That's what they're up to, more than just hair. And you chose that route, so that's a really big deal to me. So I appreciate you doing whatever it takes for you being here, doing the work, doing the homework, doing things that you're going to see people that you graduated with that aren't doing this. They might be on the floors bragging about, I'm doing this and I just did this balayage, and talking about these great things that they say they're doing or that they're posting about. You're building a super solid foundation that will benefit you for the rest of your career forever. So I appreciate you doing that. And right now, it's really important, your role here. So the world gets weirder every day, like the news, the news, the stuff that goes on, and things you see on the news, and what's happening today, and what's happening with the stock market, and what's happening with tariffs, and the world is coming to an end, and there's always some version of that happening, and it creates anxiety. People get anxious, people get upset, they get nervous. We have a lot of retired people in our salons, or people who live off their wealth, which is in the stock market, so they even get fearful. Even when they have more money in the bank than they'll ever be able to spend, they still get upset and nervous and anxious. And what we provide for people is something we've done for years and years and years. It's a safe, comfortable, loving space for people that makes people feel okay regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what's in the news, regardless of what they're worried about, regardless of what's happening in their lives. And everybody's dealing with something, because if it's not the stock market, or if it's not what Elon's doing, or if it's not what Trump is doing, or if it's not what fill in the blank, what everybody else is, what the news of the day is. They just found out somebody has cancer in their family, or they had a car accident, or their husband's asking for a divorce, or fill in the blank. Everybody's dealing with something all the time. So your role, especially right now, so you're not just a future stylist here. You're not just a someday person, like it's not happening for you someday. Like right now, you are the future of this company today. The relationships that you're building with people are you are our future of Robert of Philadelphia, meaning that it's not like someday going to happen for you. Like this isn't a stepping stone, like just like when you started school. Like as soon as I graduate, then everything's going to be great. As soon as I get out of high school, everything's going to be great. As soon as I get my license, everything's going to be great. As soon as I get certified with my 50 plus, it's going to be great. As soon as I get to a level 1, a level 2. It's right now, like today, tomorrow, like when you're in the salon with every single guest, the time you spend with them and the impact you have on them is where it happens. So a lot of times, it doesn't look like that. It looks like a stepping stone, like today's a stepping stone, like to get to where you want to be. But your time with each and every guest and every moment you spend with them, and the level of concern you have for everybody you're with, the level of love you give people at the shampoo bowl, the level of care and concern, like when you're finished with them at the shampoo bowl, rather than, the chair's over there, I'll meet you over at the chair there, these women, many of them are elderly, caring for them as if they were your own grandmother who was in a home somewhere. You know, you're guiding them and walking them over and giving them extra. It's the only place in the world where we can touch people and it's okay. Like it's not weird. You couldn't go to the doctor's office and have the doctor touch you unless they're checking a body part. That would be weird. But here we get to touch, hug, and love people. That's kind of a thing in the Italian culture. I'm Italian, and that's kind of the thing that we're loving and touching and hugging, and it's part of our way. Well, same with the head, neck, and shoulder massage. You get to touch people in a way that soothes them, calms them, loves on them. So they're always going to remember how you made them feel when you're here right now. So like today, a lot of times people will talk more about their experience at the shampoo bowl than they will about whatever transformation, whatever toner they got. That won't matter to them as much as the love you give them. So that really matters right now. It's super accentuated right now in people's minds because there's always fear and anxiety going on in the world, and there's a heightened level of it right now. What's going to happen with the economy? What's going to happen with my bank account? And what we have is something consistent for people. We have people here who have hearts, and you have a special heart. Each one of you does, or you wouldn't be here. You chose here for a reason, because there's something special about you. And she chose you in this program because there's something special about you. She sees that in you. So I appreciate you and thank you for being here in this program and choosing the harder path. I promise you it will be the best path for you. You just keep sticking with it. Keep that fresh, open mind of, yeah, maybe it doesn't make sense, but someday it will. And just keep looking at, I promise you it works. We've been doing it a while. And you know, there's always this conversation that goes on. I see it on industry posts all the time that the youth today and these kids today, and the people coming out, they're just lazy and they don't want to do the work. And I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. I know you're here. I know you have. I know you're hustlers. You're the cream of the crop. You're the top 5%. They always said that about my generation and Jen's generation. Oh, there were people before us were way better and way stronger and worked way harder, and they walked through the snow and they did all that stuff. And, you know, you've proven all that wrong about that, because I know you have the ethic. I know you have the desire. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. You're choosing the harder path, the not easy way. And the people who do make it last, and the people who do succeed, because if you look around at each of the salons that you're in, there are some senior leaders there who've been doing this for many, many years. They're super successful. They're humble, but they're really successful. They're good at what they do. They're passionate about it still after years. And they've got incredible talent, but they have a tremendous amount of humility. To get through that over a long period of time, like some of them have, many, many, many years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, a lot of time. That's a long time to have a relationship. Most marriages don't last nearly as long as the relationships that we have with people, our guests, and our I'm in that stat too.
This is longer than both of my marriages. I mean, I'm still married, but maybe.
To have a relationship last over a long time like that takes something too. So if you get nothing, always know that to have something last over time, to have this kind of relationship, that it requires communication. So when you hit those walls, and you will hit walls, it's designed for you to hit walls, to have breakdowns. It's designed to push you to the limit. It's designed to have you frustrated. That's part of the process. It's part of the growing process. So know that one thing that always works in the relationships that we have here that have lasted is a level of communication. So when you hit those walls, being in communication about it. Because sometimes it's going to look like, wow, the grass is really green over there. Just like when you're in that relationship and you think it's blissful and great and wonderful, and then something happens in the relationship where he does something stupid or she does something ridiculous, and you're like, oh. And then you see how your friend's getting treated, and wow, he's a much better guy. She's a much better girl. It looks, whoa, that person just said hello. They were so nice to me, nicer than he is or she. All of a sudden the grass starts looking really green on the other side. You know, you start looking for signs of that. And that happens in business too. So being in communication about what's working, what's not working, asking a lot of questions will really help in your journey in this industry and being here. Because we're not perfect. We don't have everything down exactly the way it is. We're always evolving. This program isn't the same as it was even last month. It's new, it's different, it's better, it's revised. So I'm relying on you because you are the future. All of you right here. Like, no joke, you're not the low man on the totem pole. You're who we're looking up to for everything. So I need you for that. So most of all, thank you. Thanks for letting me just chime in a little bit, because I am thrilled. I see the passion and enthusiasm from her about you and where you're at, because there's a level of excitement that's in this program that's at a new level. And I hear it's infectious. It gets on her because you get on her, and then it spreads around the place. So I appreciate you and thank you, and I look forward to hearing from. So every week we send, after every guest comes, they get a little opportunity to put something on the survey and to say what their experience was like. So for me, it's really important that I be hearing your names in those comments, like that you rocked their world with the head, neck, and shoulder massage, that you made them dizzy at the shampoo bowl, like literally overdid it so much that they couldn't walk at the shampoo bowl, like without Prosecco. You can give them Prosecco too, but you actually made them feel in a way, or the way you walked them to their car, or the way you guided them to the salon, or the way you gave them an extra hug, or whatever that is, because that means more to people right now than ever before, and you have the ability to deliver that and the heart to do that. So I appreciate you taking that on, like as a little side project, as part of what it is, because they'll never forget that. They'll never forget you, and they'll be the first to step into your chair when you're ready. You know, when Jen's out, or when David's out, or when Mackenzie or whoever it is that you were filming with at the time, they'll know you and remember you from that. Maybe you're not Mackenzie yet, maybe you're not Jen yet, maybe you're not David yet, but they'll remember how you were with them. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, do you let them go now?
Yeah, they're
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
I put in Slack, I tagged Elizabeth and Dory just because they're not here. I didn't tag you guys, but I did put in Slack homework. So it's there in case you forget. And then also I tagged them in a video, but I didn't tag you guys because you had it. But under the video library, you can find this video today.
Thank you.
Thank you.